Hi, I'm Craig Moody. The story you are about to hear is raw and often brutal. So is love. Welcome to the Prince of New York.
Chapter 7 The Lawn Man. My perception of Prince changed after that. He displayed no regrets, no remorse, not even a hint of care or sadness over the innocent life he had taken. To him, the guiltless man was a mere casualty in a heated moment of passionate reactiveness. As much as I understood his self-justification for the murder of a blameless man, I didn't condone or accept it. This put a wedge between us, one that impacted the bond we shared even more so than the other tugs and pulls of life. Prince noticed this and did what he could to rectify things. He made it a point not to speak on the telephone whenever we spent time together at the apartment in Queens. He would bring me gifts and listen intently whenever I opened up to him. It was all out of the typical charming man's playbook. He was treating me like some uppity, overly emotional woman. But I ain't gonna lie and sit here and say that I didn't enjoy it. Everyone wants to feel special and cherished by the one they love. Everyone wants to feel like the center of someone's world. This did help. Things did improve between us, but it made me truly see and understand just how cold and ruthless Prince could be. He needed to be. He had to be. He was now the boss of one of the most powerful mafia families on the planet. He couldn't be soft, at least not to the outside world. Time went by and I slowly forgave him, silently and in my own way, for what he had done to Rocco's innocent neighbor. It was around this time, the summer of 1976, when my captain sent me on a hijack run with 3 other soldiers. We were to take a tractor-trailer off the highway before it reached its destination, some warehouse in the Bronx. The warehouse was in another family's district, so we had to be sure that we hit the truck before it left the freeway. Our captain seemed sort of jumpy and nervous about the whole thing. We soon discovered why. We spotted the big rig on the road as it had been detailed to us, all white and with the correct license plate. It was early in the morning and traffic was minimal. The truck veered onto the exit ramp and we made the move. The guy driving sped in front of the truck and cut him off, slamming on the brakes. The semi-truck driver smashed his brakes, causing the tractor-trailer to swerve and sway. I thought for sure the entire thing was going to topple over. With the smell of smoke and burnt rubber permeating the air, we jumped from the car and pulled the driver out of the cab. The guy didn't say a word. He didn't plea or beg or nothing. He simply went along with it. It only took a few minutes before we learned why this was. Another car roared up behind the truck. 4 guys hopped out and started firing. I was near the front side of the semi, so I dove down into the ravine just to the side of the highway ramp. I tumbled and rolled, hitting rocks and whatever debris on my way down. I was cut, bruised, and scraped, but alive. The other guys I was with were all killed. The other car had been filled with guys from the family whose district included the warehouse the truck had been headed to. To this day, I do not know what was in that trailer, but whatever it was highly valuable, and the other family had already planned to hit it. They were following the truck, waiting for it to arrive at the warehouse before making their hits. We intercepted and were caught red-handed. Our Don had to formally apologize to the boss of the other family. The other family was told that these soldiers had acted alone. This was not a commissioned hit authorized by any higher-ups in the family. The boss of the other family accepted this, less because of the excuse he was given, and more because 3 soldiers had already lost their lives. Plus, the other family collected the bounty from the truck. None of their men were killed or even wounded, so it wasn't much of a loss for the other family. For our family, the loss was big. 3 men in 1 night. I was the sole survivor. The other family didn't even know I had been involved. I had disappeared down the embankment before I had been spotted. This really shook me up. I was pretty close with the guys I was with that night. To have lost them so quickly, so easily, it really messed with my head. My Don demoted my captain. I was surprised the captain wasn't killed. He was shipped off to one of the operations at one of the ports. I rarely saw him again. This was good for me. The captain who replaced him was a quiet guy. He ran things smoothly and efficiently. He didn't get into my business like that last captain did. This boded well for my private life. Life went on, but I suffered a bit of survivor's guilt after that. I felt guilty for having made the split decision to roll down the hill. I should have remained. I should have fired back alongside with my brothers. I should have gone down along with them. This event would forever affect my view and understanding of the life. It was then that the seed of escaping had been planted. Prince was helpful in the limited way he could be while I went through the worst of my guilt and shame. To be honest, I envied him around this time. I wish I had his ability to shut off and shut down and just be lethal and cruel when needed. I wish I had his ability to just be a machine or something like it. Prince treated murder the way a doctor treats routine surgery. He was able to dictate what happened and move on as though he did not just play God in someone else's destiny. He was able to walk into the apartment in Queens and spend time with me, sharing limited details of his day, be it mundane or uneventful, or full of chaos and cruelty, and then just enjoy himself. He didn't even need to drown his sorrows as most guys would. To help me cope, I was hitting the coke more than ever. Prince knew it, but again, as long as he didn't find the drug in the apartment, he never said anything. But I was spending way too much money on the stuff. I was barely sleeping. I looked and felt like shit. Eventually, I just woke up one morning and took a good look at myself in the mirror, seeing how thin I had become, how gaunt. I was freaked out by the hollow pits that sucked in the skin around my eyes. I looked and felt like I had just woken from the grave. I knew then I had to stop or something bad was going to happen. I knew I was looking at a future version of myself, dead or nearly there. I kicked the habit for good. It was easier than I thought. I was clean for about another year or more before the next drug rolled in, but we will get to that. For now, we need to talk about the night Prince's wife was attacked and assaulted in their New Jersey home. Prince had disappeared for about a week. This happened often. I couldn't reach him by phone. He didn't show up at the apartment in Queens on our set days. I didn't think much of it. He often did this when business would take him elsewhere and he couldn't share with me the details of where he was going or why. I knew this, accepted it, and didn't care too much when he didn't call, answer, or show. But this time, after a week or more had passed, he did call. I could hear in his voice that something was wrong. "My wife was raped," he said, nearly breathless, as if the very words were painful to form and deliver. "Some fucking spick, one of the ones who cuts the grass, waited in the garage and entered the house while she and the kids were asleep. The guy she's seeing is out of the country on business. This guy waited for hours before just walking into her bedroom. He pinned her down and raped her." I was stunned. I didn't know what to say. Eventually, I heard myself whisper my apologies and some other general words of sympathy. "The guy was arrested. He's still locked up," Prince stated. I knew then what that meant. The guy was already a dead man, regardless if he was released on bail or not. More than likely, Prince would have him murdered while still in custody. His family had that sort of pull and power. In fact, they could even have it done that very night. Their influence and sway over the police was notorious throughout the streets. Prince's family was known for keeping cops on the payroll, and if whoever or whatever they were after wasn't within the district of the cops in their pockets, the cops who were would make the necessary arrangements to secure some cops who could help. This was extremely effective when operating just under the radar of the law. The mistake Prince made here was allowing his anger to get the best of him. As I had predicted, he had the guy who attacked his wife stabbed to death while still in county custody. It was never known just who stabbed him. The matter went away quickly. The issue arose when Prince then had the entire lawn crew rounded up, tortured, and then murdered. This was unnecessary. Those men had nothing to do with the fatal decision of just one man. But Prince, and I can say this as someone who truly loved him, was spiteful and perhaps evil when slighted. His love and protection for his wife and family was unparalleled. I understood why he did what he did, but I certainly did not condone or accept it. Again, I found myself in the position to clearly judge and discern his actions. He was wrong, and it brought some heat down on his family. The cops that he owned had to jump through some serious hoops when it came to keeping Prince's guys, the ones who killed the lawn crew, out of the line of fire. The story made some local headlines, so the public demanded justice. The higher-ups on the police force were now under pressure to deliver an assailant responsible for the murders. This led to some internal investigating. A commission was formed, and 3 officers were charged with accepting bribes to both cover and tamper with criminal investigations. This was a domino effect. 2 more were arrested about a month or so after that. The cops who remained, the ones still in the pocket of Prince and his family, quickly disappeared, just up and quit the force and ran off, or told the family directly that they could and would no longer be working for them. These men were now in grave danger. As long as the guys remained on the force, the family wouldn't touch them. Killing a cop always brought a ton of heat, so Prince would have never taken that sort of chance. But the ones who had quit and fled were then fair game. They were stupid as far as I was concerned. They would have been safe had they just stayed on the force. But Prince wasn't bothered. He got what he wanted: cold revenge. To him, the lawn guys were one and the same way one soldier of another family could be tied with the rest of that family's soldiers, even their captain. This type of black and white mentality is what caused many bloody internal wars within the mob. From what I know, some of the cops who had once been on the family payroll but who remained on the force set up some guy to take the fall for the lawn crew murders. This made headlines. It appeased the community. The commission and police chief retracted their hold over the force, and life went on as it had before, minus the invisible hand Prince and his family had once held when it came to pulling the strings of some of the local law enforcement. This entire ordeal would prove to be a grave mistake on Prince's behalf, a serious and fatal lapse in judgment.